Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Not Crypto. You can find me on Twitter X at Forest Total. And in today's video, I'm going to go over this press release by the Office of the Comptroller of Currency that came out the same day as the Crypto Summit and went a little bit under the radar, but potentially could be a lot more important than any other thing that happened that day when it comes to Bitcoin and the crypto industry at large. Before I do that, however, I want to tell you about where I buy my Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin Well. They have a non-custodial exchange, which means you never open yourself up to third-party exchange failure. They send you Bitcoin directly to your cold storage, and they have non-KYC options available and the lowest spreads and fees in the US and Canada. Use my link and get yourself some free Bitcoin on sign up. You can also secure your seed phrase for future generations with the Stampseed titanium seed plate kit, and you can use my code BTC Not Crypto 15 and get 15% off of this amazing stamping kit and seed plate. So here we have the article itself from the OCC.gov website. I'm going to read this out and go over exactly what it means. So the title here, OCC clarifies bank authority to engage in certain cryptocurrency activities. Washington, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency today took action to reaffirm that a range of cryptocurrency activities are permissible in the federal banking system. The OCC published Interpretive Letter 1183 to confirm that crypto asset custody, certain stablecoin activities, and participation in independent node verification networks such as distributed ledgers are permissible for national banks and federal savings associations. The letter also rescinds the requirement for the OCC supervised institutions to receive supervisionary non-objection and demonstrate that they have adequate controls in place before they can engage in these cryptocurrency activities. So they're relinquishing the oversight and regulation, and they're saying if you are a national bank, if you are a federal savings association, you have the ability to now do what you want within these regulations, and we won't even oversight them. It's very interesting. This is a quote here. The OCC expects banks to have the same strong risk management controls in place to support novel bank activities as they do for traditional ones, said Acting Comptroller of the Currency Rodney E. Hood. Today's action will reduce the burden on banks to engage in crypto-related activities and ensure that these bank activities are treated consistently by the OCC, regardless of the underlying technology. I will continue to work diligently to ensure regulations are effective and not excessive while maintaining a strong federal banking system. So they will still look and make sure everybody is doing what they're going to do, but they don't need basically to check with the OCC prior to doing that stuff, right? They will be regulated just the same way they always have been as these banks, and they can now do all sorts of crypto stuff without ruffling feathers, right? There were banks doing crypto activities before, but we can see evidence that they were basically shut down before they were insolvent, specifically with Signature, I believe it was, or maybe Silvergate. It was either one of those two. I'm just going off the top of my head here. But those were a signal by the prior administration. A lot of people believe this. They were a signal that shut down of those banks that were crypto related or crypto adjacent. It was a signal to other banks not to get involved in this space, and those other banks didn't, right? So this now shows that banks are free to get involved with crypto. So we have one last paragraph here before checking out the actual Letter 1183. Consistent with Interpretive Letter 1183, the OCC also withdrew its participation in the joint statement on crypto asset risks to banking organizations and the joint statement on liquidity risks to banking organizations resulting from crypto asset market vulnerabilities. So they're stepping aside. They're letting the banks act in their own best interest when it comes to holding cryptocurrency, using crypto technology, being asset managers, what have you. They are allowing banks to use crypto however they want. It's a very interesting letter here. We actually have letter 1183, and I'm going to go through this as well. I mean, a lot of this was, basically broken down in the last one, but we'll read actually what the specific letter says here. So this letter rescinds interpretive letter 1179. This letter also reaffirms that crypto asset custody, distributed ledger, and stablecoin activities, hereafter known as crypto asset activities, discussed in prior letters are permissible. So now all of the activities that weren't permissible before this letter are now permissible. Specifically, the OCC issued 3 interpretive letters in 2020 and early 2021, addressing whether it is permissible for national banks and federal savings associations, collectively known as banks, to engage in crypto asset activities. So now we're going to go over what those letters said and how this is now rescinding those. So the letter here, the first one, 1170, is addressing whether banks may provide crypto asset custody services. 1171 addressing whether banks may hold dollar deposits serving as reserves backing stable coins in certain circumstances. And the last letter here, 1174, addressing whether banks may, 1, act as nodes on an independent node verification network, i.e. a distributed ledger, to verify customers' payments, and 2, engage in certain stablecoin activities to facilitate payment transactions on a distributed ledger. Since the issuance of interpretive letter 1179, OCC staff have continued to develop knowledge and expertise regarding crypto asset activities. Based on the supervisory experience, the OCC has determined that interpretive letter 1179 is no longer necessary. This rescission is intended to reduce burden, encourage responsible innovation, and enhance transparency. The rescission, it will also ensure that bank activities will be treated consistently regardless of the underlying technology. The OCC will examine the activities described in interpretive letters 1170, 1172, and 1174 as part of an ongoing supervisory process. As with any activity, banks must conduct all crypto assets activities in a safe, sound, and fair manner and in compliance with applicable law. New activities should be developed and implemented consistent with sound risk management practices and align with banks' overall business plans and strategies. Okay, so this is incredibly interesting. This means that we're going to see banks really start moving into the crypto world. We're going to see Coinbase, their lunch is going to start getting eaten. There's going to be a lot more custody happening at the bank of choice. They're going to start building out the rails. They're going to maybe start offering stable coins as opposed to just fiat dollars, and because then they can move across crypto rails, and the crypto economy is really going to be a lot more doable, because all of these businesses, which are banks, are going to start building on to the networks of the crypto industry. Now, what I see here, of course, is a lot of potential nonsense about crypto companies that believe that they have the best technology to underlie bank-to-bank transfers or facilitate stablecoin issuance and all of this. Now, what we will see happen, I believe, is that we will see that Lightning is going to be the best option for a lot of these banks. And that is because they can operate large Lightning channels, and they can finalize those transactions and settle those basically those tabs that they've opened up between banks on a secure, the most secure Bitcoin ledger, the ledger out there, I would say, which is the Bitcoin network. And that will basically be the rails. Lightning, I believe, will become the payment rails. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit by all the shitcoiners out there, right? But shit is in their name. They're going to shit on the Lightning network and say it doesn't work and all this. It does work. It will continue to grow, and banks will adopt it. This is going to be incredibly interesting. Now, What I will also say here is that banks have historically not been our friends. Now, Bitcoin was born out of banks getting bailouts, by banks being too risky, right? And we can see a lot of the maybe oversight and overreach as well by the previous administration has been reduced. However, that stopped them from going into this industry. And banks, when they do get into this industry, will try to find an edge over their competitors. They might adopt they might get tricked by some of these vaporware or utility coins out there. The smart ones will again operate on the rails of Bitcoin because it is the most secure, and the network effect will beat out everything else in the long term. So if you spend time and money building out on these rails of a centralized coin, it will be wasted in the end. So it's all very, very interesting to see this play out. Again, it's a good idea to stay skeptical of banks. I mean, probably a lot of us deal with banks still, even if we are in the Bitcoin world. We have not fully cut ourselves out from banks, and now we see banks trying to meet us right where we are. It's going to be a lot easier to buy Bitcoin. They'll probably want to custody it. It'll be very interesting to see how this all develops. This, combined with all of the other things that have happened from this administration, are these small to large things that have happened that will all build on themselves to create what I believe will be one of the most massive bull runs we've seen. Like, this is incredibly bullish for Bitcoin and the crypto economy at large as well. This channel is Bitcoin, not crypto, and I think that 99% of crypto out there is vaporware, scams, or some sort of VC pump and dump, or just a scam basically. And I believe that the true innovation in this space is Bitcoin. So I will continue to hold Bitcoin, and I will continue to be an advocate for Bitcoin. But I do see that we are at this space where crypto still needs to get worked through. People still need to figure out what the hell crypto is, because then they'll figure out what Bitcoin is, they'll figure out what crypto is, and eventually they'll figure out that Bitcoin is the only thing that we need, and we can build on top of Bitcoin. That's my opinion. Of course, there'll be lots of people that disagree, but we can look at the market cap of all these things and we can understand that Bitcoin has the lion's share for a reason. Now, if you want some help with your own Bitcoin, I now do one-on-one consults, and you can book those through the link in my description on my website. And I can help you transfer your Bitcoin off of an exchange into self-custody. We can go over hardware, wallet options, Bitcoin basics, really. Anything that you just need a helping hand with, maybe a nudge here and there. And you can check that out, link in the description. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Bitcoin, Not Crypto.